prepared a song for the intro.
You prepared a
No,
song? Oh my
I didn't.
God.
So okay, yeah, I'll start. I think we should include all this, but
Mhm.
welcome. This is the unnamed, as it is right now, unnamed video game podcast.
Mm.
I'm Fonzie. This is
Uh,
Gavin.
I'm Gavin.
Yep. And we have no idea what we're talking about, but this is the first thing. It's gonna be super rusty. This, yeah, for sure. Like,
The rust is being scraped off. We're
Yeah.
putting on the, linoleum cleaner because I'm not sure why.
yeah, I would get this thing closer to you.
Would I?
Yeah, just like 2 or 3 inches away. There
Okay.
you go. So I think I guess in this, I don't know how long you want to go, but we can kind of delve into, because really we're just kind of figuring out what this is. Maybe
Okay.
we can talk about what we want to do, build the structure as we go. I even have some names I was going to throw at you, like maybe at the end, to see what you think of as far as
Okay.
naming it, because I need to put something as far as to upload it.
Uh,
But yeah, so we play video games.
Mm.
You make them. I like to play them. I need to play more. I've been super lazy lately.
I need to
but-
make more. I've been super lazy lately.
Well, there you go. So what have you been playing this week?
I think this week it's been more of the same, but it's been playing some more Slay the Spire, trying to wean myself off of that. I recognize that I've hit my plateau and I'm not gonna get any better in a roguelite. That's
I've yet to jump in. I know you keep talking about it. I do want to try that.
I don't know if you'd like it or not. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you probably wouldn't, but I have no clue.
I want to. Yeah, I just feel like I'm in the mood lately to give stuff a shot, even if I wasn't,
Yeah.
thinking about it before. But yeah, that's one for sure that I want to try.
Yeah, it's got a very, very addictive power curve. And I definitely recognize, like, early game, it makes you feel really good about yourself. And then at the end of the game, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you thought you were
It's a
cool,
false
did
sense
you?
of security.
Because you're not. And then I've been definitely playing some Apex Legends. And that's been,
Oh, dude, I want to play more of that.
it's a blast, man. Like, especially playing with buds. Like, it's just, even if you're losing, you're still
I don't
having
wanna do
fun.
I don't want to play with butts.
No.
No.
Well, it's been such a long time since I've had like really a multiplayer game where even if I'm losing, I'm having fun. Like Overwatch isn't like that. Like this just reminds me of Halo. Like even if I lost in Halo, 0 to 25, I was still having a fun time. I was shooting
for
the
sure.
guys and doing cool stuff and driving like a weird hover motorcycle and escaping the map out to the north. But
Well, I feel like with Halo, there was more of like a sandbox thing to it, where it was always just something different with the matches. Does
Right.
Apex have that? I haven't played much to like experience like just wacky stuff or like different stuff happening in every match.
I don't know about wacky. Like, I definitely, like, oddly enough, like, PUBG had more wacky because you had the vehicles and you had
Yeah, and the
physics.
wonky physics. Yeah.
So, like, we'd be having backflip contests and, like, that'd kill half our squad just because we're doing backflip contests on the way to the circle.
Yeah.
Or, like, weird physics moments. Like, I still remember this one time in PUBG where we were all playing and, like, we were all shooting up a truck which somebody was behind. Prone.
Okay.
And like the vehicle shot straight up into the air due to an explosion and they were prone behind it and I'm like everything went into slow-mo and I'm like this is my moment and I shoot him perfectly in the head and take him out and then the car right before the car lands.
Nice.
And like no one playing with me that round believed me that I did it. But it's like you got like honestly you got more wacky with that and like to a certain degree
Gotcha.
like PUBG is more I guess the like I don't know it's weird like the gameplay is consistent enough that it's not too goofy.
Okay.
I could guess.
I do get a slight vibe, especially with Overwatch. I'll watch videos of it, and it just looks like just nonstop stuff is going on that I have no idea what's
Right.
going on. All these characters. I just get a little bit of that vibe with Apex, but it still seems, approachable. Like I played maybe 2 matches when they first launched,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's still way more approachable. But there's rules that I just don't get yet.
Right.
But no, it looks cool.
Yeah. It's definitely got my favorite concept of the shields because like I never liked the shield concept with PUBG because it's just like you get it and then as you get shot it degrades and then it's worse. And then you
Okay.
try and steal it from the guy you just killed and then their stuff's not very good. So it's just like, well, you get this thing that's getting crappier and crappier. Or with Fortnite, it's got the shields, but like instantly you can start the
regenerate
game.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get that super quick. Whereas this has that nice balance of you find armor, which gives you more shield.
Mm.
So you kind of have a nice little balance of both.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, what have you tried? Have you bought anything yet? Like, how's the deal? How do they manage loot boxes, and just aesthetic stuff you can buy and all that?
I've never. I think I've just gotten the loot boxes that come to me.
Okay.
But I'm pretty immune to them. Like I remember with Overwatch, I made a goal to myself to get to 100 loot boxes without opening one, and then I just have one big loot box opening spree.
I think I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
But I never did. So I think I'm at like 116 loot boxes. Never opened any of them.
As far as you organically like earning them to the game, right? Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, okay, that's a side thing, but like, at what point do you mentally go, okay, like I've played enough, I want to buy something, or do you feel like you're obligated, or you're waiting for them to really pull the money out of you with those, at least with free to play games?
I mean, it really, really depends. I think it's like your enjoyment on it and like the highs and lows. Because I remember with like League of Legends, I've probably thrown like well over $200 into that game. Like, but I mean, you have a character. I think part of it comes down to is like, do you have a character that you connect to? Because in League of Legends, I had characters,
it's true.
Like I had many characters, like probably in the tens of characters that I 100% connect to. So it's like buying a skin so I can be goofy and play my favorite character, or even connect to them further. Like that really works. Whereas I'm playing, Overwatch, like there were a couple of characters that I liked.
Yeah.
I mean, that was more of a challenge. But for Apex, I don't connect to a single character currently. Like I don't like.
I like the robot guy.
The robot's really funny, but I don't connect to his gameplay set. Like I shoot ropes and I can grapple, and there's weird glitches with that I don't know how to do. He was nicer for a while because he had the smallest hitbox.
Oh, okay.
Like I guess there were. I saw some sort of article. I think it was like you could shoot at his feet and you could just like almost not get him if his feet were moving because his feet were so skinny. It's just like what?
Oh, interesting.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I do want to kind of explore that more and just see what you get from buying these various loot boxes. And
yeah,
I know with Fortnite, like they cracked in my brain where it's like I have no problem giving them money for like just aesthetic stuff because it just ends up looking cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you can get that formula down, then there's no limit to the amount of money you can drain from someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and with Fortnite, it's just like I think it comes down to connection because there are skins like I don't play Fortnite, but if I did, I would have that Raven skin. Even though it's like one of the first fucking skins that came to that game, it looks so damn cool.
Yeah.
And it's like I just wear that all the time. Or
see, it's almost like at least again with Fortnite, but you see your kind of drop down of all the different characters you own. It's like collecting little figures. It's like, oh, I like that person. So you can just kind of switch through them. But yeah, then it just becomes collecting. Like even if I'm never gonna play this character, it's like it's cool to have.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something neat though that Apex has done that I haven't seen anywhere else. I'm sure it's been done, but they have the. So you have the skin, right? And you buy the skin, and then once you've used it enough, you get like an alt version. So like, let's say you get the weird dragon gun where this like Chinese or Japanese, I don't remember what kind the long dragons are, is slithering like through your gun. And if you do well, I think it starts off as red maybe. And if you do well enough, you can turn it blue. And it's like, that's cool. You get a skin for your skin.
Nice.
Like that's.
Like almost tiers or branches that can unlock, like you can further upgrade stuff.
Yeah, kind of gives you that much more ownership, which was something I think Call of Duty used to do really well. Like if you were really good with a gun, then you got the cool skins for the gun.
Especially towards the end, they really just like you could trick everything out on your gun. Yeah. It was nuts. And then I would jump in and play pretty close to release, and people just have tons of stuff unlocked. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? And it's just like putting so much time into it.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I don't have the article pulled up, but they just reached 50 million current players. I want to see on Apex.
50 million, concurrent,
it's nuts.
Which is insane. I don't know, and I don't know off the top of my head what the max concurrent views are. I'm sure Fortnite still.
They got to be top dog.
Yeah, they're gonna be top dog for a long while.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see. I think for me, it's really nice to have another Battle Royale that I actually enjoy because I stopped enjoying PUBG. I think it was a great game. I've poured over 100 hours in the game. I've had some of the best gaming hours of my life in that game. I'm done with that game. But like Apex has got me back, and I feel like I'm enjoying it way more. Even I don't like to play solo, but even if I'm playing solo, I'm still having like a really good time again.
That's cool.
Yeah. What have you been playing? I know we did what I've been playing. What have you been up to?
I've been playing Ape Out a lot.
Ape Out, yes.
I really dig it. The music's rad. It's like this jazz kind of soundtrack, and so as you're moving around, you play this ape, and he's getting out. You know, he's escaping.
Yeah.
That's it. And like you grab, you throw. I don't know if you've tried it yet.
I haven't. I've seen a bit of footage of it.
Yeah.
I remember Devolver Digital doing some early streams, and it was really interesting.
And they published it, I want to say, because they were kind of promoting it online.
I'm pretty sure.
But it looks like it was developed by one guy. Like I could probably bring that up.
You know, it could have been, and the reason I say that is I feel like I've been hearing about this game for like 4 years now.
Really?
I feel like it's been in development for a really long time, and I think if you had more developers, I feel like it would have been out way quicker.
I really dig that it's been getting like really positive reviews.
Yeah. So you got 83 on Metacritic.
Yeah, and so Gabe Cuzillo. So shout out to Gabe Cuzillo. Yeah, what I love is it's pretty simple as far as like the gameplay, but they just nail everything. The art style is really cool. Mm-hmm. You'll have there's just a soundtrack going, and your steps kind of create the soundtrack. Yeah. They use this free-flowing jazz, but also it plays into what you're doing because it's just like dynamic. If you throw some guy, you know, there's like a cymbal crash, and it's just kind of building this thing, and it's actually surprisingly hard too. Like just the stuff that you wouldn't think you'd have to do. But no, I dig it. It's really cool. I haven't beat it yet, but I'm about maybe the second. There's like chunks to the or sides like a vinyl. I think I'm on side B. But yeah, I've been playing that.
Now it's is it again because I haven't played it? Is it a roguelite where it's randomly generated?
So although you have like a general, you have these key points that it's always going to have as far as like almost like not cutscenes, but you have these spots that are always going to pop up, but everything around that is dynamic.
Okay, sure.
So and how they introduce like different baddies, that's always going to be the same way, but everything else is dynamic. What I do love about the when you're dead, like the actual screen that pops up, it shows you the map and how far you got and what's left to be done. That was cool.
That is really cool. And I feel like, to me, when I hear about that feature, like the first thing that I think of when I think of that little map thing and how far you've gone is, as a player, I would feel very encouraged, because there are times when just like the end of like I know in a lot of roguelites that I play, the end of your run can be really shitty. But if you can like look back and see how much further you got than you got last time, or really see how much you progress, like that would be. Will
they show you the end usually? So you can kind of see like, oh, if I would have just kind of
how
like
close you were?
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh,
because that's what they do in Ape Out. Like you could see how you were closer to the end, or you just started the level. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How many floors is it? Do you know?
Well, that's the thing. They kind of change it up. So the first part, you're escaping one floor, just different rooms, and then the next level, it's kind of like a second scenario where you're on a high rise and you have to go floor by floor to to the actual base floor.
Okay.
So they switched that up, but you're always kind of transitioning into one room after the other, and that's where they save and that's where you go from there. But yeah,
so
they
kind of
switch
unlocking more of the game.
Yeah.
Basically, as you play the game, you're unlocking the full version of the game. Basically.
Right, and they kind of switch up the scenario. So like you'll play a new ape the next playthrough. And
really?
Yeah. So like the first ape is a different ape from the second one.
Oh.
I'm not sure the storyline with the apes, but yeah, if they know each other or what. But I was gonna check on some level stuff.
Sounds that fun.
They're blowing up. Okay, so that's what we're playing, right? Nothing crazy. I did try there was a beta for, I'm drawing a blank. It's it's not post-apocalyptic. It's like it's a Ubisoft game, and they just did a beta.
Division?
For Division, yes. Division 2. It was over the weekend, so I just got to play maybe an hour, and then I kind of missed that window. I was out of town, but it's cool. I didn't like the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you make it to end game, or?
No. I kind of dabbled with the first 2 hours, and I was like, not for me. And so I jumped in with this one. It's more of that, so maybe it's still not for me. But I like what they're doing. I like the whole world that they've built, the kind of alternate history that they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just not for me.
I really hope it does well. I think I'm finally going to jump. I wanted to jump into the last one, but I know it had problems with the end game, which I know they're focusing big on this time. But
okay.
I know I watched a fair amount of streams of it, and it's like, it has super bullet spongy shooting, which I love. Like that, I think that worked great. I really like the Gears of War series and how bullet spongy it was. That being said, I feel like it made more sense in that game because you're giant slabs of meat with guns.
Yeah.
So
for
like
sure.
it's like, of course I'm more because I can take all the bullets. And now it's
Right.
just like you're a normal like super skinny.
I did notice that, and you're just kind of like unloading on these regular ass dudes who like have whatever
Right,
big
exactly.
5 armor on, but yeah.
And it's like I think I really think it would have benefited strongly from like a cartoony look to it.
Interesting.
But I mean, it is nice, and I know one thing I heard from a lot of people, especially after some of the later patches with the game, they're like, the grind in this game is super duper fun, and people will play for the grind. You're getting these really cool gear, you're getting, gear combinations, and they work really well. But there was just nothing to do with it.
Gotcha.
So it's just like, I think it's going to be really good now that they're going to bring that back, do it in a new world. But you're going to have stuff to do with that gear, and I'm gonna play so much of that if it's what they think it is.
Yeah,
and I hope that it is.
it comes out soon.
Yeah,
it's like March 15th or something like that.
Yeah,
which I found interesting. The beta's so close to the release. I think there was a previous beta. Is it just more of a stress test at this point when it's so close to actual release?
I think so. I'm always heavily skeptical of all that stuff.
Or a demo,
like
maybe.
I know with not Apex. What's that other?
Another battle royale?
No. What's that one that just came out with where everyone's like Iron Man?
Oh, Anthem. Which I have some
yeah.
news stories about Anthem too.
So they did those tests close, but they're just like, so you guys know, this build is 3 months old. So it's just like,
great.
Well, how much? Like, how
what's
much,
changed?
Like, of our feedback is gonna, and it really doesn't look like anything changed. And then you got the day one patch, and it's like, it's cool that there's certain things in there, like loading times are faster, which I appreciate. Because God,
I did jump in on that at least the right before release they had some kind of early rollout on Xbox, on PC, and the loading screens were pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of those demos are honestly just hype builders.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And there are some cases where I've definitely seen some late in the game betas, and they fix latency issues, or they're getting overloaded during the beta and no one can check it out, and then launch goes and it goes smoothly, which is nice. Because, I mean, there's been a lot of games that have had that problem. Anthem was one of them. When that launch day came around, a lot of people couldn't get in. So I was not, worried that I didn't, take work off to go play it.
Right. That's always a risk. And I think, I feel like everyone should expect for it to not work on day one.
Right.
To not, just give it at least a day or two to kind of work out the bugs. But
yeah. And I've been that way since the last time I ever took off work for a launch was Diablo 2. And I was so excited, and I took off work, and it didn't work all day.
Yeah.
And I was just so frustrated.
Yeah,
I
what
think
the hell are you
I
gonna
want
do?
to say I was even gonna stay up and play it at midnight, and just nothing, and all next day. Like, it's such. Yeah, you just can't trust it anymore.
No.
And there are some games that do it, like Apex came
I was gonna
out.
say.
Like,
yep.
Goodness, and it just worked. Like, it was so cool to have a game just come out and work, aside from when it crashes randomly, which is annoying. But
gotcha. I haven't played enough to experience that. But
it does happen. Like, I don't play a crazy amount, but I've gotten like 2 hard crashes where it's like, well, that sucks. We were doing good. Could have won, wouldn't have won, but could have won.
Yeah.
Well,
let's see. We do have some stuff that's happened lately. As far as like some of the articles, I did have an Anthem focus kind of side with the just kind of the dropping of the ball with that release, but we'll get to that. Really, the first thing is Nintendo, because they've really been in the news lately.
Killing
it. That's kind of the overall theme, I think. So Pokemon released, or at least they announced the new Sword and Shield Pokemon.
Right.
That's a big deal.
And gun Pokemon.
Now, is that real? What is that? I just lightly read something about that, like that was kind of a prank or something that was shared.
I think it was like some newspaper took it seriously.
Yes, okay,
and
that's
published
what it was.
Yeah. And so they thought there was a
So
gun.
it's Pokemon with guns is what? I've never saw Pokemon.
Well, I mean, I assume it's not related to anything ever, because
right. But what was the thing that was actually
Sun and Moon, like all these things? Well, actually, Sun and Moon may have been related, but like
So
I mean, Ruby
up.
and Sapphire, Red and Blue versions, like none of this means anything.
No. Yeah.
Although that title does look like legitimately like good, and I love that Gun is like shot up. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. So we're looking
So
at
who's like I don't
Pokemon
know if
Gun.
you play Pokemon. I don't really play Pokemon,
No.
but who would be your starter amongst these three?
I don't know.
I was surprised at the amount of people that were split because I thought the bunny looking guy was just like that's it.
The bunny's cute for sure.
You know, no contest. And it was really interesting to see, like reading through a lot of the comment sections, the amount of like introverts that really caught on with the little, I don't know, the blue guy.
Yeah,
little
like the
fish
knockoff
thing. They're
Squirtle
just like,
guy.
I look at this guy, I see my anxiety in this fish. Like I connect with him, and I was shocked. I'm just like, are we gonna have all the extroverts, you know, going with the bunny character, and then you know the introverts going with the blue guy, and no one wants the fucking monkey. Like,
yeah, like the same thing for me. Like when I see this, I'm like, yeah, I'd go with the obviously, you know, the Pokemon with issues. I want to go with that guy.
Yeah,
like,
he has personality, and it's really
right.
Cool. Did you see the one for it? The one of the animators or something, or one of the guys working on the Pikachu movie did a rendering of the fish guy.
Oh, okay. I feel like I've seen. They look like a gecko. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, it did look like a gecko.
Yeah,
it was really good. Which I'm honestly very upset that Detective Pikachu looks like it's actually going to be a good movie, because that it's Detective Pikachu. That is no right to be a good movie, but
yeah, what I like is that
it looks fucking hilarious.
It's going to bring in, you know, just, I guess, I don't know if fans really are split and really want some kind of like adventure or Pokemon based on actual battles, but this would usher in the next, you know, version of that if this is successful, which I imagine it will be.
Still, I do still wish Danny DeVito was playing Pikachu, though. That would have been, I think you can replace any line of Ryan Reynolds, and I think Ryan Reynolds is doing a great job, but you replace any of those lines with Danny DeVito, it would be just like a smidge better.
Yeah, I just want him with like his little cap, and maybe you paint him yellow, like no CGI. He's just playing Pikachu. That'd be perfect.
The whole time he thinks it's a porn. He's like, when do you bring out the girls? Oh my God.
It's just Ron Jeremy. So yeah, on the theme of Nintendo killing it, you know, this is a little bit older, but as far as some of the stuff they've announced, so Super Mario Maker 2, which is awesome. I'd missed the first one. Yeah. I think it was stuck on Wii U. Mm-hmm. So I'm highly anticipating that.
A lot of people excited. That's gonna be it's gonna be so cool for that community. It's really interesting that the size of that community is surprisingly big, and I know some really cool people in it, and it's like the fact that I mean these people just wanted more, and they're getting more.
Right. So, I mean that's why I'm interested, because it's like you could just get endless levels of Mario made by people that care about it, and there's some brutally hard ones I've seen too. It's just like I'm not into that, but that's cool.
Right. I mean, that's just going to be absolutely incredible. That community is just going to get bigger. And I don't know. I mean, the thing is, though, like, can they go anywhere from here? Like, they're going to make this.
I know they're announcing new. Yeah. Okay. They're announcing new new versions of Mario that they're adding to Mario Maker 2. But
so when do we get Super Mario 64 Maker?
Oy, that seems like way more issues to get that working. But I mean, I don't know. That'd be cool.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Never happen. I mean, unless you use like the Dreams engine.
Yeah. I played the beta a little bit. It's it's insanely hard to navigate, but they start to like layer on the difficulty. Like, oh, you can kind of do this. Okay, you can flip this and move it and add actions or like movement to it. It is really cool, but just like with a basic knowledge of kind of how to play games, I don't know if it's made for everyone. Like, I think you have to kind of have already a slight like interest in developing and maybe kind of understand the lingo a little bit. Yeah. But I like it. It's rad. I think it'll be interesting to see what people do with it. I did see someone created the intro scene to Dead Space in the Dreams.
It was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's awesome. We're just going to be just copying games or just like making the remakes that we want to see just through Dreams.
Right. Maybe we can finally get that Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah, I mean, just some interesting like releases from Nintendo. So they're doing ports, like so we have Dead by Daylight,
which looks terrible.
Okay, like the port version of it,
like
or just the game in general.
To be fair, Dead by Daylight is not a good looking game. Like I think it's really cool and I watch a lot of it, but the Switch version looks so bad.
Well, we'll see how it runs. I mean, they're able to handle, and like we have Hellblade coming on too, but
that look good. Yeah, that looks really cool.
But I mean, you've been able to run Doom, Wolfenstein, as far as like the really taxing games. So, but yeah, maybe it's just the programming issues they have.
Yeah. Well, and that's also like, I mean, that's AAA talent team right there that's been working with, I mean, you consider the fact that you can run regular Doom on any toaster you can find in any garbage can. Like, it's, so it's really not too big of a surprise that team can handle it, but it's still impressive how well that's running. I do hear it has slowdown issues. But yeah, that's so Legend Reborn.
That's as far as like just kind of capturing everyone's attention. The announcement of doing that remake of Zelda Link's Awakening is pretty big. I'd never played it. I'm really stoked to actually play on Switch.
That makes me want to have like a kid write this 2 years ago just so they can play it. Like that was my first Zelda game. It's a big reason why I have such fond memories of the series as a whole.
Nice.
And it's like, I want my kids, like, I want that to be their first Zelda game because it's so damn good.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm excited to play it. Was it on Game Boy originally?
Yeah. Originally on black and white Game Boy. Then they had the version I played first, which is DX, where it was color.
Oh, I see. I think I do remember that one, but I didn't play it.
Yeah. That was neat because it had, there was like a graveyard and you could move a specific thing. And this was like the whole color thing. And you could unlock either, I want to say it was a blue tunic and a red tunic. And if you had, I think, the red tunic, you dealt more damage, but you took more damage, I think. Or if you had the blue tunic, you could take more damage, but I forget what the trade-off was. There was some sort of trade-off. So that was kind of nice with that. But it was such a cool game, except for that final fucking dungeon, which is a ball buster. And it was hard.
Yeah. I never played it. I'm totally down. I don't think they announced the date. It's just the fact that they're working on it. Yeah. But, yep.
Good enough for me. I couldn't believe that little anime intro they did for it. Like, it took,
I did not see that.
Oh, you didn't see the intro? It was
We'll
definitely a moment of, like, you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is, and all of a sudden it clicks, and you're like, oh my God, they're actually doing that. It's such a cool thing. Because it does kind of match up with the intro of the original Game Boy. Because that's just basically that's the intro. He's on the ship, he's struggling to control it, then he gets struck by lightning. And
was one of the theories, I know they like eventually built the timeline afterwards, but I think the ongoing theory was that the last game where he's on a boat, God, I forget the name of it.
Oh, Wind Waker?
It's like Deadliest Catch. Yeah, Wind Waker. This was somehow either before that or after that. It's kind of like a continuation of that story. But I don't know if that was pieced together afterwards by fans or because eventually Nintendo like actually had a timeline.
Right. It could definitely be in that universe. The only thing I would say is, well, you kind of have to play it to know the story.
Okay.
And once you play it and know the story, then you know that it doesn't fucking matter where you put it in the timeline.
Gotcha.
Like there's no reason, honestly, to even put it in the timeline.
It looks fucking adorable.
It's so cute.
I want to live in this world.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It's like, I mean, this is like, you know how like when you're a kid and stuff like always like look better in your head? This is like someone took that image I had in my head and made it even better. It's so cute.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so...
That reminds me of something. So you're saying Ape Out, right? So it's got that kind of jazzy thing. And I was thinking about that when you were talking about that. Like, so Breath of the Wild also had really sort of jazzy combat music.
Is it like sort of dynamic where it's changing depending on what you're doing?
If I remember correctly, a little bit. But it almost seems like that's a really good idea to go with jazzy music. Even though it was weird, like when I watched people play Breath of the Wild, I didn't think it worked. And then you're playing it and you're like, actually, this works pretty good.
Gotcha.
I almost wonder, it's just like how well does jazz really fit in with, these crazy kind of chaotic.
Well, just with like the cymbals, the crashing of the cymbals,
Yeah.
as far as to kind of insinuate explosions, that kind of thing, action, and then you have just with the ape, especially, like he's just kind of on his feet, traveling that way. The slapping of his hands is that kind of not a congo, but like just like a beat, like a drum beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really nail that. As far as like feeling like, oh, I'm creating the sound a little bit. I know other games have done that, especially with Nintendo too. I want to say it was Galaxy, one of the first Galaxies. They had they had an orchestra recording, but like they would change pitch and tempo based on like what you're doing. It was just a little bit more tied to your actual actions.
Super Mario Galaxy, or
I want to say either the first, the second. I remember hearing something about that. That's another one I've never finished, but yeah.
Well, definitely like dynamic soundtracks have been around for a long time, but it's just like how dynamic do you make it? Like I do remember, like one of the best examples I've seen is like Shadow of Colossus. Because that really changes on where you are on the monster, how you're doing with the monster.
Or when you jump off or you fall off an accident, how that sound kind of goes away.
Yeah, it gets really somber all of a sudden. Like I still remember like the big, like there's like a sky train robbery style monster that's really long, and you have to climb up it. And like the moment where like I hop off my horse, get onto a wing, and it takes off into the fucking sky, and all of it, like the music kicks up, and you're like, oh shit, this is happening. Like it's really, but there are other examples where it's so subtle you don't notice it. Like I played the first God of War. I borrowed my girlfriend's disc, and because she was very careless with her discs, it was scratched. And it was interesting in certain scenes where I could tell how dynamic the music was because it would cut out entirely.
Whoa.
And then like I swung across a rope, and all of a sudden it kicked in differently than it was a second
ago. So you'd really
ago.
notice the sound.
Yeah, and it was really but if you're not playing with it, you never know that game has a dynamic soundtrack, but it totally does, and it works really well. And I think this is almost more like sounds like a generated soundtrack based on your play.
On what game are you talking about?
Ape Out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so, but it's still not like they because the controls are so simple, they can kind of guess what you're going to be doing almost, like you're going to be moving or making people explode by throwing them. So it's but I want to say it's on the simple side, but it's still it comes across really well, like the way they do it.
Yeah.
I remember it's almost like I could just hear that music on its own and without any other music beyond that, because it's awesome.
Yeah. I'm super down for that. I definitely want to check it out, but I'm also a huge fan of Hotline Miami.
That's one title I never played, the first or the second one. I know it's really loved.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
I have a huge backlog I need to get back on. Yeah,
it's never going anywhere.
Or you mentioned Twilight, or not Twilight, but the newer Zelda,
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
It may just not be for you. Like you said, you didn't really connect to it.
No, fuck that. I'm gonna play it, and I want to beat it because everyone loves it. That's my goal. This, the next couple months.
There's always plenty of games that everyone loves that you're not gonna like.
But I hate being on the outside and just like kind of peeking through when conversations are like best of the or game of the year kind of conversations.
Right.
I want to experience that. At least I want to have my opinion on it. So like I'm gonna jump in and play that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that I gave up so early on it, but.
Yeah.
I guess because it was surprisingly hard, like harder than I thought.
Yeah.
It could have been the route I was taking. I was going to because I think they let you explore everywhere, right? Obviously, but there's key areas where it's like you shouldn't mess around with this because you have no idea what you're doing. But I would seem to just hit those spots and not find the route they want me to start with, if there is a route. And so it was just kind of frustrating.
Well, I definitely took those areas that I wasn't supposed to go to as a challenge. And I feel like that was the really fun way of playing. It's like, I know I shouldn't be fighting this thing yet, but I'm going to make it work on my sliver of health. And I found fun in trying to break the system, which really the system doesn't care if it's broken. It's just happy you're there.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I definitely really enjoyed that aspect. And it was so cool having a hard Zelda again, because we haven't had one in forever. And I'm still bad at it. Like, I'll watch people that are really good. I know I watched this one guy. His name is Metric Seconds. He beat, I think it was Master Mode without ever leveling up his health. And I think he did new armor as well.
Okay.
And, like, I'm watching him in these fights, and he's using the shield like a goddamn madman. And I'm like, I've
just deflecting everything? Or?
I didn't reflect anything with the shield until the final fight. Because I was so bad with the timing. And then I got there, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So good luck, Link. You're just going to face tank this stuff.
I feel like the deflecting, I thought it was important because there are areas when you're out in the wild and there are these like tarantula looking robot things.
Yeah,
And they
the
hit you with,
Guardians.
you know, with their laser. And I
Yeah.
could not avoid that for the
Well.
life of me. But I figure, okay, when I learn whatever ability
Mhm.
with deflecting, that was going to be key. But yeah, they would find, and I would try to like just sneak around them everywhere I went.
Yeah,
They'd find me, and yeah, it sucked.
that was definitely one of my still favorite parts is fighting those Guardians. Like their combat was really fun, unless they got like some distance on you and could just laser beam you every time. Like that was really frustrating. But
I could tell, yeah, because I was so bad and they kept killing me. I could, in back my mind, as soon as I figured out how to do it, that'd be such a satisfying feeling, like taking down these things because they
Yeah.
kept kicking my ass.
yeah,
But to the point where I just gave up.
yeah, I do wish I'd use more of my special arrows against them, like the
Mm.
arrows that are good at killing them, because I really just didn't use them, and it's like, well, why didn't I use them? Like, there's no point in not using them on them.
Did you kind of finish and then not jump back into any of the DLC or anything? Because there was like the motorbike thing at some point.
Yeah,
There's other stuff they rolled out.
yeah, never jump back into that. I
Gotcha.
would like to try out the motorbike at some point, and I hear that dungeon was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I never got into it, nor did I try out the amiibos, so I never got.
Oh,
into
yeah,
that.
yeah. Interesting. Okay, so this is kind of a bigger rumor that's, you know, and it's a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but the idea that Microsoft might be working with Nintendo to put Game Pass on Nintendo Switch. So I had some like different outlets just to kind of really make sure this is legit. So Reset Area is a big one,
Yeah.
but Game Informer is also kind of at least aware that that's a rumor. But yeah, and then I'm wondering, what do you think that would, if that is true, what would that be? What would it look like having Game Pass on Switch?
I mean, I imagine it's like a cloud gaming service, or
Yeah.
like Ouya was trying to be, or some of the other ones.
On Live, I
Um,
think that was way back, but
What,
yeah.
what were the two questions again?
So what would that look like? So that's kind of trying to
Oh,
figure
yeah,
out,
yeah.
because I know that Microsoft did announce in October a kind of streaming service, because for a while they didn't have a legit
did
one for
they?
gaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did. It's like Project Cloud or something, but they announced that, and so I imagine it would work in that capacity. But because not all the games that are on, you know, the Game Pass would work just natively work on Switch. Like there's taxing game, there's like Forza and that kind of thing, Crackdown.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Crackdown, but yeah, so they'd have to stream it in some way. They just haven't really talked about that kind of thing yet.
Yeah.
But that's just the one thing I love about Microsoft right now is that, you know, they're against the wall, so they're just throwing Hail Marys and just trying anything.
They're throwing some damn good Hail Marys.
Yeah.
That last, what was it, E3 or whatever, where they were just like, "Welcome to the candy shop."
Okay, well, I can't find the actual title, but yeah, they did talk about that. But I mean, that'd be dope. You just pay for a subscription, and then you have these various games on your Switch. I feel like that can still exist with Microsoft, where it's not going to cut into their thing, right? It's just an optional, especially with Switch. A lot
think
of
it'd
people
help.
have, right?
Because right now I don't feel like buying the Game Pass.
Mine just
Um,
came with my Xbox One, but
Oh,
yeah.
did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And like, I think the only thing on there that I really wanted was like Sea of Thieves, and even then, it's just like I don't have enough people that I would play this with me,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'd have fun by myself in that game. But Microsoft Game Pass on the Switch, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think they'd make money from it. It'd probably cut into some console sales, but I mean, at the end of the day, it'd be such. Oh man, it'd be such a big deal.
Yep.
And I hope they do it. I kind of doubt they'll do it. But man, I mean, it's interesting to see their technique, like, because right now, like, there's no exclusive anymore. So there's no real
Yeah.
need for me as a PC player to buy an Xbox. Like, I just don't care, aside from, like, maybe I'd want to play with my buddies, which I can't really, I can't play with my buddies on console. But
Can you? So you can't cross play with a title on Microsoft's or on Xbox?
there
so
are a
you
few
can't-
titles you can do
Okay.
that with.
but like within PC and at least Xbox within those two, or no?
Yeah, there are definitely titles in there.
Okay.
I don't know which ones you can do that with,
Gotcha.
besides Fortnite, because you can play that with everything right
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know enough about it to be able to do that. But yeah, that would be cool, especially if we can get that in there. It'd be such a big deal.
I'm kind of like picturing I hope they, just for the fun of looking back on it, but I hope they wait till E3 just to have the epic, like they walk out, with, together.
on the Nintendo stage.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what like?
And you
a
just
big
drop the
deal that
mic.
would be?
Like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh man, I'd love it. I don't
And-
think it's gonna happen. I hope it happens.
It'd be interesting. Well, yeah, we'll see. It's a rumor, but
Yeah.
it just kind of shows, and maybe it has more clout right now because Microsoft is just trying weird stuff and just going
Yeah.
for it.
Well, they built that big cloud architecture and never did anything with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to like. The thing that always bugs me is like with cloud technology, you're not necessarily restricted to the current hardware. So why not do bigger,
Mm.
better things? Why not do a split screen? I mean, split screen is really hard to do on games nowadays because they're so damn pretty.
Yeah.
So
And you could have
like,
cloud hardware or software rather
yeah,
running that.
yeah, you could
Mm.
totally be doing split screen with like Nintendo consoles being like the king of like local co-op right now. If you could have split screen playing your, all these games, that would be such a big deal. And it definitely make porting to it. I hear it's not too bad to port to, but again, like as I was mentioning with Dead by Daylight, like that looks like garbage on
Mm.
Switch. If you can get that, full and ready to go. I don't know. Hopefully they use their cloud technology to allow for better stuff within games that's not currently possible with consoles.
That was the idea. They kind of walked it back when everyone was freaking out. I know early on with
Yeah.
that initial announcement for Xbox One, they were really, going hard on the cloud technology. And
Yeah.
I think even when they first introduced the new Crackdown, they
Yeah, it
were
was
going to
supposed
use
be
that
fully
to,
destructible
yeah.
to cities. You could topple a building with another building.
which I played 30 minutes of the new one and I was like, I couldn't handle it anymore. But
yeah.
I remember that idea and I was like, okay, are they dropping it now? Is it just they're
Yeah.
static? They're buildings you can't manipulate? But I guess not.
Yeah.
Which I guess they had to shelve everything and redo it and
Yeah.
just kept Terry Crews screaming the whole time, like kept that audio.
I don't, as much as I love Terry Crews, I don't think he could really save that game.
No, I do want him in every game though. I want it.
No,
I want that
absolutely.
optional character.
You just
Okay.
Play. Can he Terry Crews for next Mario?
That would be awesome. As far as Switch stuff, we just on Saturday it was the second birthday of the Switch.
That's really.
Yeah, and that really, I just kind of was thinking about that to reflect, and we've already talked about the really Nintendo stuff, but I mean, they're killing it. I feel like they're just in the right position, and I think of with Wii U how they've really just kind of dramatically flipped the script on that,
Yeah.
and they're just back in everyone's hearts, which is awesome.
Yeah. And
You never want to see them like where they were before, but
Yeah, and the Switch times were such dark times.
or Wii U.
Or the Wii U, yeah, the Wii U. Like, and the few games on there, like, you kind of hope they all get ported over.
Right.
Like, now we finally
That should be the plan. They should be
yeah,
okaying that all across the board.
like Toad's Treasure Trackers. I wanted to play.
Yeah.
Now I can play
There is
it.
a Toad game. I'm not sure if it's exact port, if they redid it, whatever. Even there's a newer Yoshi that
Yeah.
they announced too, also on Switch.
I'd like
but-
that Wonderful 101 game.
I didn't see that.
It was Platinum Games, and it was like kind of like Pikmin, but kind of different. And so just actiony, and you're gathering a crowd, and you can shape your crowd into like a fist that you punch a bad guy
Really?
with.
What was it
or,
called again?
Wonderful 101. You still have the rest of that search on there.
Yeah, I just like to.
Although it knew what you meant.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get a Beautiful Joe vibe from at least from the main character. Like
Yeah,
how
he
looks.
does kind of have a Beautiful Joe. I mean, same studio.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I am excited about that new Astral Chain game. Like it's definitely like one of the most anime things I've seen in a long time. And I thought it was a sequel to gosh, what was that one game? Yeah, isn't that
This looks
gorgeous?
dope.
Yeah. It's almost like a child's like I don't know, action figures or something.
Yeah, just kind of like playing in your room with all this stuff.
Yeah.
What was the other game you were talking about?
What other game?
Astral Plane or something?
Astral Chain. Oh my god, you can form them into a gun and shoot that gun.
It's like when they're pitching ideas, like do that. It's just like anything.
I mean, that's how Astral Projection changed my life. I mean, that's definitely platinum. Like they're gonna take whatever they do and go to 1,000 with it. Astral Chain.
Astral Chain. Yeah, I was Googling the wrong thing. Yeah, they just This is February 13th, so they just kind of announced this.
Yeah, just announced it the other day. Got some Power Ranger vibes to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, me included, thought it was a new Xenoblade game. Like something about the look, something about the cheese of it, the way the women dress. Like I was like, all right, this is next anime titties game.
Right.
It's the new Xenoblade, just set like further in the future or the past or something. But yeah, it looks, and we don't really know what the gameplay is yet, but it's this weird like co-op with yourself thing. It appears.
Oh, really?
You're swinging this guy around, doing weird stuff.
Actually, yeah, that actually looks pretty cool.
Right?
I do. It reminds me of, oh God, there's that game with it's kind of the same style, but you have this lady with she's using her hair as like a weapon.
Bayonetta?
Bayonetta. Yeah, I kind of get that. At least with like the sort of glimpses of gameplay.
Yeah, same studio.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Platinum does what Platinum does.
Gotcha.
I'd still love to see them do again like another, and I don't know if it sold poorly or whatever, another Vanquish style game. I don't feel like they've had like that was such a cool shooter and it was so extreme. Although I guess that Nier game kind of probably satiated that feel for a lot of people because it was still
that one looked really
fast.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's another title where I'm sure it's not for me, but I do want to try it because there's enough there where it's like, this looks cool. Yeah. But normally I'm not really into that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they do the list of people working on it and everyone lost their mind. And I'm like, who?
I think we're done jacking off Nintendo. I feel like they've earned everything. All right. But yeah.
Reggie's going to retire after that one. All right. Back to my family.
Yeah. So we kind of lightly touched on Anthem. Yeah, they just kind of just dropped the ball. I mean, they crapped the bed with this release, but
is it like I just haven't played enough of it. I feel to like really judge it. I'm not having fun with what I'm playing.
That's kind of the vibe I got. So I did maybe 2 hours on it, and while it was like it's super beautiful, it's just not even as beautiful as it is. It's not unique enough to really like keep me invested.
Yeah.
The gameplay was cool, was interesting. I like the cooldown mechanic where you have your Jaeger, your like robot guy. I think Javelin, Guardian?
Javelin.
Okay, Javelin.
Yeah.
That you have to kind of manage all the different things going on. That was cool.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't really like anything keeping me focused. But I wonder if a lot of the negativity is also because just the bad taste in everyone's mouth with God, now I'm drawing a blank with Mass Effect, with the last one. And everyone's just really not giving them the benefit of the doubt or a chance because of that, just how they let everyone down with that. Apparently, how they let everyone down with the last one.
Well, see, I feel like that's not it, because I know for me personally, I could give a shit about Mass Effect.
So yeah, I'm in the same boat.
But like when this came out, like that was not even in my mind as far as stuff. I was just I think I honestly feel like part of it may just be like the gameplay. They didn't know what to do with the gameplay loop. So it's like you start to do a mission and you barely even do like your intro mission where you like get to the boss. Like you barely even did anything. And then people are treating you like a god for having been there. And you're like, shouldn't I have like survivor's guilt or something from this? Cause I just like walked into it and people died and I didn't really do anything.
Yeah,
like that would have been more interesting. Like make me feel bad about it. And then like it has you in the Citadel or whatever it's called and you're talking to people and none of that's fun. And then it puts you into a crappy menu and then you load for an hour and then you do a mission with poor pacing. And it's like, if they could just deliver really the good parts of the game, more of the good parts of the game, like give me like the looting, I think was okay. And I guess they're improving the loot, but just like, let me play with my food a little bit. Let me just go out and shoot stuff and get really kick ass. And they could even, that would honestly be a better thing. I've definitely heard people say a little bit is like, give us more enemies. And I think that would be really good. Give me more enemies. Give me a lot of enemies to manage and deal with. Give me a bigger health pool, but give me more enemies. And then just makes my attacks bigger and cooler. Like the one big lightning guy, people like playing that person.
Yeah.
Because they do cool shit. Like give everyone those cool, big, badass moments. Let me be the tanking, everything.
Yeah.
And, I hear there's not even that big of a difference between the big tanky guy and the regular,
regular
warrior guy. It's just like one has slightly more health.
Gotcha. I
That's
assume
both.
those tanky guys are slower, but I
Yeah.
just assumed they were balancing it that way.
Yeah.
And then you have to do this flying around.
Yeah.
But
I've still never figured out how to do like I have like an ability that like makes the enemies like focus on me. And I don't
okay.
know how to do it. In no point in the menus can I find the button to do it.
well, that's good.
So, all right. That'd be handy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I wish them the best. One of the recent things today was Sony actually taking note because apparently, with whatever latest patch, various PS4s are shutting down after playing Anthem.
Really?
Yeah, so the game itself is shutting down, and in response, Sony's actually giving refunds, like no questions asked for that game.
Sony is.
Yeah, and I've
Why should Sony have to do that?
I mean, they must have a clause where when it's considered broken, they actually will bend and give a refund. So,
Wow.
yeah. So at the moment, until they actually release a patch that will fix that.
I guess good on Sony.
Yeah, yeah. But that's usually like a last resort.
Right.
So it really must be something that's unavoidable for those people that experience that.
See, and
but-
that's really sad too, because like for PC, that makes sense. You're gonna have problems because everyone has different computers. There's a million
Right.
different parts you could have, and have like one little piece problem. But with fixed hardware,
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
your
there's
shit together.
More
Like,
variables with PC and
Yeah.
with PS4, there's not, or consoles in general.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
It's tough. It reminds me of so the next story that I was going to go over is Fallout. So it reminds me of that last release with Fallout 76. There's just kind of problem after problem after problem, and
Yeah.
Anthem's really experiencing that now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bethesda's okay, cool. Like they can kind of move some of that hate somewhere else. But what I found interesting, so what was it last week? They kind of detailed their plan going forward with some of the new content.
Yeah, you can play
And-
single player now.
So is that the deal? I know there's these newer kind of modes or focuses. So as far as like these seasonal things.
Sheer terror. I know nothing of this, but yeah, I heard you can play single player, which I don't really care about that.
I know you could have
personally.
before, but you were just alone.
Yeah, as long as you don't shoot people back, you
Yeah.
don't really have to worry about other people. I still want to play this game. I will still play it once
do
they
too.
get it stable.
Yeah, and that's been my whole thing too. And I feel like with this newer content, so that March 12th is pretty soon. That's the first one, the Welcome to Wild Appalachia. Because I love Fallout. I just really just wanted more of a single player experience, and if they can at least give you that option more, I think they are going to kind of adjust. I don't know if this stuff, because there's 3 kind of newer expansions here or just new modes. I don't know if that was intended to be free from the get go or just the response of negativity. They're like, okay, we got to do something. Let's offer this free.
Probably that. They've always charged for, DLC in the past, which
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I'm gun shy with them with their DLC because it's so spotty.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. In general, with me, as far as DLC goes, I just wait till it comes out.
yeah.
It's like, I'm good.
Check the reviews, see was
Yeah.
it a good one, was it a bad one. I still like the gunplay though of the Fallouts, albeit I played a weird build in the last one because I was just like an invincible melee character that could hit for everything.
Oh, okay.
And I know that's probably not super an option in this one.
I don't know. Yeah, I've yet to play it. I am super interested. But yeah, I actually dug the gameplay too. I know they get a lot of shit for it, but I like it. I know you
Yeah.
can't use VATS in this, but
Well, you can use VATS, but it
You
auto
can.
shoots for you.
oh, okay.
So it just auto aims for a couple of seconds, and you can still spec into that. And a lot of people do spec into that.
Well, really with VATS, the only reason I liked playing it, you're more accurate with it. I get that, but I just love the slow mo and the over the top gore.
Cinematic.
I love that part of it about it. So
Yeah. Well, I like that you could build into the VATS though, and that's what I did. That's why I hit for so much, was I could teleport my melee attacks from like across the room, like a good gap.
Huh.
And the further away I was, the more damage it dealt when I got there.
really,
And so you could daisy chain. So you'd pick someone really far away, then you pick someone really far away from that, and then you go back to the first one, and then back to the other one. So you're like zipping across the room like Sonic, whacking
What?
everyone in the face, and just one-shotting people.
that's awesome. This is on 4, right?
Yeah, that was 4. So I was goddamn Batman in VATS. And then I started throwing on my crits, and there were a whole bunch of abilities to like make it so you can use your crits all the time, and you can just like randomly get more crits or all these other stuff, and you can randomly refill your VATS meter. So I just be like a lucky god out there, just like zipping around, one-shotting people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat.
But yeah, I found it interesting just juxtaposing on Anthem and the issues they're having releasing. Fallout's been, or Bethesda's been just kind of plugging away quietly. And really, that's like the Hello Games model with, with what's the space
For some
game?
reason in my head, the only thing I can think of is Stranger Things.
No Man's Sky. With No Man's Sky, just the heat they got, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna plug away, go, work quietly. And I think they're kind of following that model. It's just, respond to the community, but start releasing stuff, start working.
Yeah,
because that's really all you can do, and that's really all you should do when it comes to that kind of thing. So we'll go to our next story here. A little bit further or more recent, but Cyberpunk just kind of tweeted that they will be at E3. Yeah, in what capacity? I don't know. Will it be another gameplay reveal? I'm good. I don't think they need to reveal anymore.
I think they need to show game more. Like,
you think so?
No, they showed that last bit. That was really cool. It's gonna be. I have concerns. Like, definitely, like they were saying, like there was that scene during the demo that they showed where like, I forget, some guy like cuts him off in traffic and some little incident happens.
Oh, sure. There's there's a shootout on the freeway.
Yeah, and they were just like, and this is all dynamic. This
I don't really
like,
believe that.
You know how many times we've been promised that shit's dynamic, and it's never happened. Like they even did that with Anthem. Like there was this comparison video I watched recently of like going back through like the original demo and what happened.
Oh yeah, those are always
like
fun.
some guy just like walks out of a crowd and starts talking to you. It's like.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of that with the recent Red Dead a little bit, which is you stumble upon, but that's not hard to do. Whereas like, a car cutting you off, that's crazy hard to do.
Yeah, and I just don't know where their whole engine is at because it's crazy beautiful, crazy detailed, and then you're just driving at high speeds. It just seems more and more complicated for them to pull that off. Yeah. But the driving to me is worrisome. I'd rather you just be able to walk around, even like fast travel places. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's the driving that I don't know if it needs to be there. The cars look dope, but I don't know if it's just gonna, make things run worse. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. And so maybe they need to kind of elaborate that if they do show up at E3 with some gameplay. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm on board 100% anyway. So I just want them to, my thing with this, if they're going to show something off at E3 and it's going to be like a sliver of gameplay or vertical slice or whatever, I'd rather they not take away from their development time, even if it's just a small team working on that demo, that reveal. I just want them to work on the game and just get the game done because I'm super stoked. I'm on board.
Right.
It's like just work on the game.
Yeah. And I'm just excited too from them. Like I always wanted to get into Witcher, but I have a hard time getting into fantasy settings.
I'm the same way.
And I know that game's good. Yeah. I know the storylines are like, you come for the storylines. The gameplay's really great, but the story's really good and you actually affect it. I mean, it's now in a universe that I can really get behind and get excited, and I just can't wait. It's going to be the game for me.
Yeah,
my computer won't be able to run it, but it's going to be the game.
Yeah, I'm hoping whatever console it releases on can do it. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm on board.
Yeah.
There was a smaller thing. This really just kind of, it's just a weird world that we're living in where Fortnite's so big that music is really just like becoming a part of it or pop culture. But there was Marshmello, who's a DJ. I've never fucking listened to him. He's big. He did a whole concert in Fortnite a month ago. Weezer, so they just kind of previewed their entire album in one go on Fortnite. They had their own creative island, and it was just kind of strange to me. But it doesn't surprise me. Like that, 100%. That's what you should do. That's advertising. This is the biggest game in the world right now. Jump on there. Of course, do that. But it's just kind of like we're in a Black Mirror episode. It just seems strange to me that there's rock stars premiering on a video game.
It's definitely really weird. Especially when you see, like, I know Marshmello was a big fan of Fortnite. Like, he won a tournament with Ninja.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wearing his helmet the whole time, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so he won that tournament. So it makes sense to do him. I don't know about Weezer. And
they're
it's
all kind of older guys.
Seeing some of these combinations. I know, like, for example, Imagine Dragons did, like, a song or something. I don't know whether it was an original song or just they were asked to sing one of their songs for some sort of League of Legends animation or something like that.
Okay.
And they brought them in because Riot Games knew that Imagine Dragons are really big fans of League of Legends. They'd be sometimes playing it right up until they go on stage.
Gotcha. Okay.
You look at like you, God, what was that example I was gonna give?
It's another band that's a fan of a game.
Shoot, I've forgotten. Oh, I was gonna say, like, at this rate, it's like, how long is it gonna be till like Lupe Fiasco shows up in the new Street Fighter?
Sure.
Which I'd be super on board with.
I guess why not, like, merge all this stuff together, because we're kind of realizing, and I feel like it all kind of ties back to, again, Fortnite and Drake, when it was such a huge deal that he was just gonna play the game like in a live stream, and everyone lost their mind. It's kind of cool to see these worlds merging, or just pop culture in general, just really just kind of blending like it is. But so it makes sense that it's going to happen that way.
Yeah.
It's just weird that you'd premiere an album on a video game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like thinking or talking to myself when I was 8, like that would be a possibility. That's just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, it's so strange.
But yeah, go for it. More power to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you've caught up on some of the Sonic leaks, but I know we're jumping far, but it's pretty bad.
It makes it really sad again when to compare it to something else, like when Nintendo did the transition from 2D games to 3D games, right? They did very well, and I've definitely read some essays and stuff about why that was. Like, they found how their gameplay could be improved by the third dimension.
Gotcha.
And really leaned into those things. And, they had a very smooth transition. Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64 is probably the biggest example. Whereas Sonic had a really rough transition into 3D. Yeah. And as much as people love the Sonic Adventure games, and I certainly loved them at the time, like, you go back and play them, and they're not...
No, they're rough.
They're very, very rough.
Yeah.
And
I loved them when they came out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I still know most of the words to, like, running around at the speed of sound.
Yeah.
That scene in, I don't know if it was 1 or 2, where you're getting chased by the Mack truck while you're snowboarding down San Francisco hills.
Dope.
Like, I played that demo like 1,000 times. That was such a cool part. But, like, to me, this is sort of reflective of, like, now we've got Detective Pikachu with the creepy looking live action Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it's actually working, and now you have creepy live-action Sonic, and now I just want to vomit.
Yeah. It's just kind of a bummer, And then, so I'm thinking of the actual, like, plot and some of the actors. So Jim Carrey will be Dr. Eggman.
I think he'll do okay there. I think that's probably viable.
It just also seems nuts, but okay, go for it. But yeah, it's just...
Did they announce who's going to be Sonic?
No, I'm not sure who's voicing the actual character.
God, those legs. I feel like Neil Patrick Harris can do it really well.
And this is still like, this is promotional art that's leaking. It's not the actual CG in motion. Maybe it'll really kind of stand out when you see an actual trailer.
Maybe.
The feet are weird. It's like kind of Jim Henson, like seeing the Muppets feet, like when or not the Muppets, but, or like Sesame Street rather. Yeah. When you're seeing actual Muppet feet, it's weird.
I mean, bringing in Jim Henson, that makes me think of who's the guy that did Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, Tim Burton.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if they just took like a weird Tim Burton-esque route to this movie and made it really kind of twisted and weird? Yeah, it's just like, what even is a Sonic Hedgehog? And today is like, there was an article released on Sonic the Hedgehog's like original origin story. About how he was just like a hedgehog that lived in a hedge next to his neighbor who was Eggman before he was Eggman, and then like something happened to Eggman, and like I guess he was his like mentor or something, and Eggman was a chef, and then like this whole thing happens.
This makes sense.
And then so like now defeating Eggman is like sort of sad because he was his best friend and mentor, and it's just like, can we bring back some of that weirdness to the Sonic? Like, Sonic doesn't know what to do with Sonic, aside from like those more recent games like Sonic Mania that were clearly made by fans that knew what they loved about Sonic.
And it's them still going back to 2D and just kind of staying in that world. Maybe that's where it needs to stay.
Yeah. Although Dark Sonic worked, though. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon series back in the day.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember any of the plot lines, or I remember them eating cheese dogs. That's about...
There was a lot... Well, it was weird because the show had a transition period, because when it started out, it was super, like, Saturday morning cartoony, like, over the top. cheesy. It was a lot like the Mario show almost with how corny it was. And at one point, it gets dark, and that's the part I remember most as a kid because it was great. I think it dealt with, although that may have been the movie, like Metal Sonic, who's like his dad or something like that. Like, yeah, it gets really rough. There's like a rebel army, and Sonic's part of it, and
Whoa.
yeah, like something happens to Eggman or Dr. Robotnik. I forget which one he is. And like he goes from like cheesy evil to like evil.
Oy.
And oh man, so if we can go back to that, I'd be all over it.
I didn't realize the world was so deep with Sonic and the lore. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I remember the chili dogs.
Yeah, the chili dogs. I don't even know. The chili dogs may have gone away. Like Robotnik took away the chili dogs, and that's when shit got real.
Yeah. So I think we'll end just another little rumor thing or speculation, but Borderlands 3. So there's just more scuttlebutt that they'll kind of be at E3 in some capacity and finally show off, what they've been doing. But I think it's kind of interesting because they've been gone for so long.
Right.
And then that whole shooter landscape has changed so much. So what would Borderlands 3 really be, to compete with that? Or do they go totally stay in that world, and that's so different from what's out there now that's where they kind of build their whole thing. But so that's just kind of, so there was a Take-Two like investor call, which is always how like stuff is leaking. Yeah. But they kind of planned out their time frame with 2019 being some kind of Borderlands 3 announcement release.
Man, I hope it's good.
Yeah. I dug too. I didn't never finish Borderlands 2, but I liked what they're doing, like the art style and all the just the gunplay, the gameplay was cool.
Yeah, and the characters are really fun. It definitely needs a big improvement. I still think the game needs a second ability. Like every character has one ability, and that's really cool. But I think everyone needs a second ability. Like whether you want to do two equally good abilities or whether you want to have like a smaller ability and then a big ability, kind of like Destiny has.
Oh, okay.
And I still think Destiny was kind of like, a holdover game for a lot of Borderlands fans. And it had a lot of the same formula. It had some of the, I think originally, like when you watch the original trailer for Destiny with how goofy the guns were and how goofy that demo
weird
was,
with it. Yeah.
I feel like it was more Borderlands inspired. But yeah, I think that game is going to need to learn a lot of lessons from a lot of other games. And I would love if it were, another one of those shared world experiences where everyone could just go together, kind of like Destiny or Anthem and stuff. I think it would work really good, especially if it had that humor. But it's going to be weird too with a lot of the people gone. A lot of people are gone on this project. I know Anthony Birch, the writer for 2, now works at Riot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So to see where they do, whether they can get another really convincing villain, what they can do with the gameplay, is to a certain degree like a lot of these other crazy apocalyptic games coming out, like the new Fallout,
right.
Or definitely that new game from id Software, whatever the hell it's called,
Rage
2. Yeah, like is Rage 2 gonna eat its lunch? I don't know, but Rage 2 looks like the gameplay is balls to the wall insane.
Yeah, would there be kind of too many of the same titles, all coming out relatively recently? Like there's Far Cry, the newer Far Cry did the same thing, where it's a post-apocalyptic.
Did I not say Far Cry? What the hell game did I say?
Oh, Rage 2, which is that's coming, but it's the same kind of. They're almost following that same kind of motif, where it's like where it's like a Mad Max, like newer Mad Max style. Yeah. But which I did play Far Cry, the newer one.
Yeah.
God, what is the new Far Cry? Far Cry Mad Max, whatever. New Dawn, yeah. It was cool.
Like this has got me. So we've got a lot of these post-apocalyptic games right now, which I think kind of resonates with people. I think like people are probably going to get a little. It's going to be the new zombies here pretty soon.
I think so. I think you're around the money. Yeah.
It would be really interesting to see. I don't think anyone's done like a really. Not that it's really what that genre is for, but it'd be really cool to see. I think the next big one would be like having a Cthulhu-y.
There's more and more games coming out like that. I do feel like I noticed more of that.
That's going to be the new post-apocalyptic zombie thing. Like definitely in the board game world, it's already there.
Gotcha.
Like there is a Cthulhu version of every board game out there.
Gotcha.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But I don't think that's really his thing. Like, I know a lot of those games, like, it's more about the madness and a lot less about the combat, with the exception
Right.
being sort of Darkest Dungeon, which did lean strongly into that, making it more realistic with how people would handle, you know,
Like Psychosis or something.
yeah,
or
the dungeon diving on a regular basis. And who knows what that new Darkest Dungeon 2 is going to be.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they haven't showed. I mean, they showed a teaser for it, and people think they kind of know the Lovecraft story that it's based off of. I forget what it's called, like the Mountains of Madness or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's the only one I've actually somewhat read through.
Oh,
is,
really?
yeah.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it'd be perfect. Yeah, we'll kind of see where they go. I think a lot of people really trusted them, and it was interesting to see how they kind of earned people's. That was a good example of, and we don't have enough of them, of games that really improved in the early access.
Mm.
Like, that was a true early access. Here's our game, help us improve it.
Yeah.
And they listened to the fans and really made it a game that the fans adore.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Yeah. So really, the Borderlands 3 kind of speculation was my last
Good.
entry on here. A small tidbit. So the PS Vita finally, at least in North America, I know Japan, they've already stopped production. It finally stopped in North America. So I mean, it's
The Vita
it's dead.
was still in production.
It was, yeah. So, but it's officially been ended.
Wow. Yet the Dreamcast is still going strong.
Is it still being made?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah, I know for a while, like, so there's a company, they do like limited releases, like physical releases of games.
Oh, okay.
I forget, they're really well known. So they were having an issue just finding the actual cartridges for the Vita games, because they're putting out digital only games. You know, they're on Vita. They're actually putting out like just collectible cartridges that actually, you know, have the game on them. But Sony only had so many left, actual physical cards to print on. So they just had to kind of cancel a lot of pre-orders.
Yeah.
But the actual Vita itself is you know, pretty much officially dead. It's a bummer. I actually had the handheld for like 2 years.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's supposed to have really good games.
It did.
Yeah. Like,
Hell,
stuff that I will never
potential.
play because it's on the Vita.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I dug it. I think when I got the Switch, I ended up selling mine on eBay for like $100. Just put that towards the Switch. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's sad to see it go, especially since, you know, there's really no competitor with Nintendo now. I mean, that was the only kind of big thing against it besides mobile. I mean, what else is there?
And now Nintendo can't even compete with Nintendo on the handheld market. Like the 3DS, like
Yeah.
they've even said, like, we thought the 3DS would survive a little bit longer after the Switch came out. So
Yeah, do they just kind of just go full force with the Switch, or do they offer some kind of alternative?
yeah.
Or like a 2DS version of the Switch, you know, like there was that cheaper, just kind of like option to have for whatever little brother in your
I don't
family.
even know what they do, like, because I mean, honestly, I don't like the Switch as a handheld. It's too damn big, and I really liked. I played my 3DS all the time on the train to work back in Chicago. Like, it's nice having a little handheld console with some really, really good games. Like, some of my favorite games are on the 3DS. So it would be nice to have something, but I don't know in what format. The other thing people point out, two things we're losing too with that is dual screen gameplay was pretty cool. It was nice having a map screen or whatever you wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And then that touchscreen is whatever kind of touchscreen that is, has a little bit of a texture to it. You're still using the pen. Like, it's a different experience than you get on your phone.
That's true. Yeah. And you're losing that if they decide to not, you know, keep exploring that with a 3DS or that whole idea.
Also, the 3D was kind of cool, especially when they improved it for the new 3DS. Like, it got way better. I still think they could do more stuff with like head tracking, so like you moving around.
So it's
the
automatically
screen.
adjusting the depth or whatever for you.
which it does with the new 3DS. So it's like you already had that head tracking. Make it so you can peek around a corner in a game with that. Like, allow for, you know, like Nintendo used to do, more with like the Wii U and the Wii. Like, I'll bring back a little bit of that new innovative ways to play.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, with those head tracking in the screen, you look like a crazy person playing that on the go.
Yeah, when you're kind of
yeah, people don't necessarily want to do, but it would be nice to see them bring back something. It'd be nice to see the 3D kind of kept around, but yeah, I just don't know where Nintendo goes with this.
Yeah. I think I turned it on once with the first Mario on 3DS. I know it kind of launched with that one, and I wasn't into it. man,
Yeah.
I stopped. I think I kept telling myself, yeah, this is cool. I think I like this. And then you can't really move your head around. But I haven't tried newer models where it actually will adjust for you.
Oh, it's great. It's really
That
great.
could be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But
Bring back the Game Boy. I don't know what you're doing with it, but bring it back.
dude, I think the Game Boy could have a resurgence. That'd be awesome.
God, what would they? Would they just call it the Game Boy?
Yeah, just the Game Boy.
I still kind of wish they had done that with. Now I do think the Switch was a great name for the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember a lot of people were thinking, like, for that, the rumor was that they were just going to call it the Nintendo, because I mean that would have been so cool. Like,
Finally, all the soccer moms would have it right for once.
exactly, yeah. They finally go play your Nintendo like that. Oh man, that would be the biggest fucking mic drop to call it the Nintendo. Oh my god.
Wow,
But
that'd be dope.
maybe that'll be their new handle.
So that that really ends it. I think we've gone for like 3 hours, anyways.
Half-Life top-down shooter.
So some of these things are just little funny tidbits I thought I'd like to show you.
Okay.
Um,
Mario 64 at airport.
So I need to remember like how to actually use this. So yeah, this is from Kotaku. Just somebody. I'll actually find the actual article here, but they modded Half-Life 2, Half-Life 1 to be a top-down shooter, and so you can play the entire game just in a different perspective. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Would that work?
Apparently, so they've adjusted the camera to not like go outside of the world, but it kind of limits your view because of that. Or you can have it have more of a view space of a viewable area, but it's going to go outside of those bounds, so you'll have this black kind of area.
Huh.
But yeah, just kind of a weird way to play it. But I just thought that was neat.
Huh.
And I just recently played Half-Life for the first time, so it's kind of.
Did you actually play it all the way through?
No, I need to finish it. I really do. But once I
hard.
got over the hurdles of kind of the older controls, I was actually like, okay, I'm into this. This is awesome. This is Half-Life.
Yeah.
I need to finish it up. I would love some kind of remake somewhere, on up-to-date hardware, but
that would require not Valve making it.
right. Yeah. Okay. So that was that top-down shooter thing, and I think really the last part was this.
Mario 64 in an airport.
Yeah, it was just a funny little thing that I'll include.
What?
Just a little. And this is just a dude swimming to the sound of Super Mario 64. But I thought that was pretty cool. I do want to try this now. And that's gotta hurt. He's a champ.
He's got a pretty big belly on him.
But yeah.
I like you can see how dark it is. Like, clearly no one in that airport cares anymore.
No.
They're seeing this guy. They're just like, all right.
Yeah. Cool. I have an extra, outlet I could use because this guy's not using
He's got a 6-hour layover.
it. Yeah. That's it, man. We've gone through, a week's worth of stuff. Oh, I had some names. I don't know what you're thinking as far as a name goes. We need to put something on it. So here's what I'm kind of going. Some of these are just, pretty awesome, like Snack Boys. I thought could be
Snack Boys.
could be cool. Dad mode.
Dad mode.
We're not dads, but I feel like, we live that dad life. Like I like to be, asleep pretty early by 10.
Want to be asleep.
I find more and more when I go to concerts, I'm just angry about like how late they are and by the time they get out, because it's like midnight. I'm just I've spent this whole day. Let's have it, at 1:00. And
I know a lot of people that are on that, like especially like when it's not on a weekend.
Yeah.
Like not on a Saturday. Just
Yep.
like come the hell on.
Yeah. Let's maybe change that a little bit.
Yeah.
Beep Boop,
Beep boop.
is another one. Some of these could be like the title and then with Gavin and Fonzie, that could work. Or just the thing, the actual title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Under Control, I had an idea. I was just kind of like spitballing these.
Cool.
Electric Company, I thought could be cool, but that might be copyrighted because there's an actual show called The Electric Company, well-known show.
I imagine Game Show would be.
Yeah, that was kind of some of these I thought maybe if they're so obvious, they're not taken,
Yeah.
But my original one that I started with was Flashing Lights and Sound, as just like to explain, I don't know what video games are.
Right.
But I got really obsessed lately with this idea of including some kind of tie to a seance, like that actual like visualization of just nowadays video games being like maybe a modern day version of a seance of really talking to someone that's not there, or people gathering around for some reason And I just love that idea. Where are we dropping?
Where are we dropping?
Could be good. Video game homework as far as like just kind of like maybe going over more terms or like just like technique stuff in games that maybe we could like pick apart more. You know, like I'm always asking about lighting or reflections. Like I just want to understand more about that. So maybe kind of dedicating a spot in the show to that, and then maybe kind of building around that. But I don't know. Some of these are just ideas, but we do have to make some kind of name for it.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. What are you thinking? Are all these horrible?
I think well, I mean, it just depends. Like at some point you need something that kind of like, it'd be nice if we find something that gives people like a little bit of an idea. Like I feel like Where Are We Dropping, like to me sounds like we're talking about battle royales all the time.
Yeah. And it's not only,
Yeah. Or
Where's Dad Dropping? Like maybe we could start merging these.
Dad Dropping?
Or is it Childish Gambino that did a it's like a random name generator, but like a Wu-Tang random name generator. We could maybe just plug stuff into that.
Oh my God.
That could actually be really dope.
That'd actually be really funny.
I don't know what that would even be, but yeah. So, I could just put in numbers and just call it like an actual, just name it by numbers. But we're just gonna do this live.
Wu-Tang name generator.
Okay. Enter the Wu-Tang. Ooh, baby, you like it raw? Join Ghostface Killer, inspect the deck, Method Man. Yeah. So let me throw in Gavin. Irate Killer. Pesty Assassins. Too many syllables.
Yeah. Especially when your name went from so convenient.
It's still Irate Killer. I mean, you should change your name to Irate Killer.
Well, I assume the name is just seeding it.
Yeah, so it's not going to like generate a new one. Yeah. Yep. Arrogant Killer.
Arrogant Killer. They're all killer. Are all the Wu-Tangs killers?
Well, there's
Ghostface
Killer. Really, that's the only one I think. RZA, Gizza, yeah. So I'll put something just maybe on Name Podcast for now.
Yeah.
But and then just start from there. I think it'd be cool to once we get a name down, actually put like or create a Twitter and just kind of just start like building it that way. But yeah, we'll go from there. I'll talk to my grandma and see what she thinks as far as name.
Is she gonna have the seance and her grandmother's gonna pick out the name?
They had a seance here in the coffee shop.
No, they did not.
Yeah, this was maybe a month ago. There's like some kind of I don't know what the term for that job is, but they're like a seanceur. They professionally will like call people, from the dead or whatever.
Oh wow!
She just rented a room in the coffee shop, and then and it sold out. Like there was tons of people there, and I'm not sure how it went. We didn't get to see the inside of it, but yeah. So they have them here.
It's such an interesting coffee shop. It's just like the amount of stuff that happens here. It's like so. I don't know if this is the right word.
Starting
like
to build,
eclectic, or just like the culture around, like the fact that you have weddings here.
Yeah,
and like not like. People like this coffee shop so much, and they think it's such a cool place that they're having weddings. Like,
well, okay, pump your brakes. With the weddings, it's like it's just cheaper to do them here. So I think a lot of people.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people. The courthouse has these weddings here, but it's because they offer them cheaper here than when they do, and it's like overflow too. When they're just booked at the courthouse after 5, they'll do them here as well.
Really?
So I think it's just more of a convenience, and it's a little bit cheaper. But yeah, it's funny because when my boss made that deal with the courthouse to actually put the weddings here.
There's a deal with the courthouse.
Yeah, so they paid for like 2 years or whatever to like always have those weddings here every Saturday. But when they did that, I think the idea was, okay, people are going to come in, maybe buy a coffee or something. 90% of people don't, buy anything. They just going to come in, go to the wedding, peace out. But it does add some it kind of is refreshing. You get to see more people in here. So at least adds it for that. Yeah. For that side of it. But yeah, it's really just like you'll get older people too, and then younger people, colliding in one area, which normally they're not going to, I guess, unless they're shopping or something. Right. I don't know. But they're like meeting, hanging out here. Yeah. But yeah, that part's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny with Rosillo's, the pizza place next to us. I feel like they're always hiring, they seem to always hire like an ex-girlfriend of mine as like a manager there, and I always have to like interact with them. Yeah.
I wasn't where you had that many ex-girlfriends that this could be.
No, I have like, I don't know, 2 or something, but they all end up, coming here. But yeah,
Oh,
it's also a
man.
small town, so that's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, man, let's end this. Yeah. Well, then we got to think of a cool way to end this.
Well, you should probably do, what's your name and where can people find you on social media?
I don't know. So yeah, I'm Fonzie. You can find me at Fonzie Fiesta on Twitter. Maybe I'll change that, but not that anyone would ever watch this. But yeah, and Gavin, you.
Yeah, and I'm Gavin, and you can follow me on Drunk Devs on Twitter.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see. No one. We'll see you guys. Bye bye.
Next week.
All right. Thanks. Cool, man. We got it done.
Nice.
Oh, I wasn't recording the entire time.